Victor's interested in unacceptable processes.
Global National with Robin Gill.
I'm Christina Stevens. The last place you'd expect to find art is at a shooting range, but we'll introduce you to a Canadian artist who uses a gun as his paintbrush. It's coming up on Global National.
Viktor Mitic is a well-established Canadian artist known for his distinct approach to painting. Prime Ministers past and present are collectors of his unique work, but not everyone agrees his portraits are crafted in good taste.
It'll be interesting to see how people receive Viktor's work, kind of what his legacy will be, because I think that, you know, the initial thing is to be shocked or outraged.
In a shooting range, this is exactly what you expect to see. But Viktor Mitic is blasting preconceptions by using a tool that's as far from art as can be.
Something that usually is used to destroy rather than create.
All of his targets are icons. Images people are bombarded with every day. For some, the connection to guns is obvious.
The title of this painting is Dallas, and I think I shot about 500 rounds of ammunition here.
Shooting at them is another one of these surprising things. You don't do that to a canvas, right? I mean, shooting is vandalism or violence or murder. You don't shoot at a canvas. I mean, what artists hate? They do a beautiful watercolor. They hate more than anything else the fact that it might get water splashed on it. Viktor courts water. He goes out and encourages them to be rained on.
Viktor likes to incorporate another force kind of in the creative process. And use it as a catalyst to arrive at the final product. It doesn't seem like he, starts and finishes the painting on his own, and that becomes a pivotal moment is, when he is giving up his piece to that force, and he's doing that again in this body of work. When you talk to him about his process, Viktor, has pre-planned. He's made an underpainting. He's attempted to do sort of the traditional process of making a piece, but then he incubates on that composition. He lets it sort of ruminate, and he waits for the perfect storm to approach. He's intimated that finding the perfect kind of weather, the perfect kind of storm, that almost maximally damages the work is kind of what he seeks.
It's sort of perverse what Viktor does. He makes his art out of processes that are totally either forbidden or looked down upon by other artists, by most artists.
Let's see if the lighter works. That's it, kind of stops the action here. See? Yeah, this area here. I got a quick dry it a bit. Wow. This is gonna like
One of the things that I think is important about this body of work is that it is as much about a performance, and I think that that again is another common strain. Viktor really likes to set up his process, and he likes to kind of perform through it. So I picture, you know, him waiting for the storm, and I kind of picture him getting his like tarp on or his plastic outfit and going out and, you know, reacting frantically. And one of the things I've always really admired about his work is the work's ability to tell that story without actually being there.
He's very present in his work. Like when I see his bullet hole paintings, I can sort of imagine the process. It's not like I'm looking at a finished work. I feel like I'm looking at the process, and I can hear and see him working on it.
This is a portrait of Jesus. Titled "Whole Jesus" was my first piece of art there. Yeah, I received a couple of emails from people, anonymous email, hash mail. I don't know what they're using, and they said they'll slash the painting at the first opportunity. So we decided to put protective glass on it.
Reacting to images from our celebrity-obsessed culture, Viktor uses firearms to blast away the preciousness with which we treat celeb images.
Viktor is a very surprising guy. Viktor is quiet, contained, inward-looking, rather on the shy side.
Tell me a little bit about this particular image.
Yeah, this is a portrait, I guess, the full figure of Paris Hilton, a very seductive pose, you know, and everybody's fascinated with this particular figure. Yeah, I just kind of get a few shots myself. I mean, that's, you know, and it's usually done in one session. It's got to be done very quickly because I don't want to think about it too much. I just want to get it done, and it just comes out of the, it's an extension of the arm by now, I think.
And after you had finished shooting Paris, how did you feel?
Released.
Like a quiet river, you know? You don't know what's going on down there. So his work turns out to be totally opposed, totally different from what Viktor seems to be like.
See how it thing kind of gets separated as you go.
It's a lot about the gesture. His work reminds me a lot of Jackson Pollock in a way that the gesture is really important. Pollock was very much about putting his own body into the work. When I think of Viktor's work, I really think about the artist. It's very performative. Like you can see the brushstroke, you can sort of imagine him working on it or the elements working on it. He's really in that work, and I think that's very much how it relates to what Pollock did.
Jesus was a pop icon. Paris Hilton is also a pop icon. People dying in some parts of the world, for us, it almost looks like a video game.
His work references Dada and Surrealism. The leaders of the Dada movement believe that a society that creates the monstrosity of war doesn't deserve art.
You see the destruction of Buddha in Afghanistan? That was kind of shocking, you know, a big full sculpture exploding, and the big sculpture is gone. And later on, I discovered footage of soldiers and villagers stepping into various churches and shooting at frescoes.
When I think of Viktor's art, I think Viktor's an extreme case of a Western artist in the sense of Western myth, of the Fisher King myth, where you have our Fisher King who's been injured and he's constantly searching for what injured him. A restlessness of not being satisfied at any state of finality. He's constantly, restlessly going from one idea and working through of one idea to another idea. It's a willful loss of control in his unconscious somewhere. There's a lot of mysticism in his art. And it's a very cold color scheme, but even the reds and the oranges seem to have a cool aspect to them with the cool colors. It's and almost like a lunar landscape, and the surface of the paintings after the rain has had its effect on them, as opposed to solar art, extroverted art of the self-consciousness art. This art is inward. It's an external presentation of inner landscapes.
The rain paintings, I have to say, are my favorites. I think the rain paintings are his most personal. He has discovered his own techniques. I think it's fair to compare them to the work of Patterson Ewan, who did the wonderful gouged plywood paintings of storms and thunder and lightning. And what Viktor has done, there's a warmth to his rain paintings and a mysticism to them. They're poetic, they are colorful, they're beautifully formed, they're more spontaneous, and I think that he came up with a rhythm that he was working in naturally and gracefully with the natural elements, and I think he succeeded in coming up with some very powerful images. They are among his strongest works. They're not didactic, they're exploring color and form, and they're worth looking at over and over again. They give more back to me each time I look at them. I find them to have an innate beauty, which I think is his strong suit.